Hello, welcome to the Master of Unlocking.
We just leveled.
We just leveled it all out. Okay, maybe we should start again.
No, own it. Own your introduction.
It's all red on the thing, and it's...
Fine, start over.
Okay. No, we're sticking with it. Now we're sticking with it. All right, we're done. Okay. It's been a while.
I haven't seen you guys since Christmas.
I know.
Where have you been? Locked in a basement?
Playing video games locked in the basement.
Oh, God. That sounds awesome, actually.
I have barely played anything, and I feel like that's a problem. Why I haven't requested to play, or we haven't been like, hey, let's do a podcast, because I don't feel like we've played a lot.
I think I've played 4 games. Hey, you guys want to talk about games?
Yeah, sure. Let's do that.
All right.
Oh, I thought we were talking about knitting tonight. No, we can go to games tonight. We'll do knitting. We'll push off knitting.
We have a coworker that loves knitting. Does it at her desk.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
There's always that one coworker who's knitting a blanket for the grandchild they'll never have.
Actually, she knit me a scarf once.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Pretty good. I'm Jason.
Oh, yes. Jason.
I'm Caleb.
And I'm Logan, who yells a lot for no odd reason.
So he's so down on himself at the beginning of the podcast.
Okay.
I'm Logan. I'm annoying.
Maybe that should be the tradition from now on.
Just self-deprecation.
Yep.
Yeah, just something terrible. All right, well, let's start with Jason. What have you been playing since the beginning of the year?
My list is smaller than Caleb's, I'm sure.
And that's why we're starting with you. And because
I've had just a basement and nothing else going on. So.
I think that the first thing I played this year was Far Cry 5, which I finished. And you finished.
I did also finish that.
I didn't touch it.
Okay, and you didn't play it.
You probably shouldn't.
That's
don't
why
worry
I
about it. It's fine. It's okay. What do you think?
It's fine. I don't know. It's not good.
I think it's better if you don't finish it. Because that ending just really soured me on the whole.
It's terrible.
That ending is maybe the worst ending.
So I think without spoiling it, but we did a video for the channel, right? Mm-hmm. And the beginning of that game is
the trailers for that game looked like the story was going to be good. This cult leader in Montana and everything else looked like a nice change from the island atmosphere of every other Far Cry game.
It picks up where that stuff leaves off, and it's really grounded, right? And so you think that there's nothing supernatural, or it seems, about the situation at the beginning. These totally human people have more or less brainwashed people around the area or taken them captive, and then they're growing this cult, this militia cult that's taking over the territory. And they even have a pretty good, they try to, at the beginning of the game, even make a call out, like a distress call out, and there's a pretty good narrative excuse, and good relative for Far Cry terms, but it does say, all right, can't bring in the army, can't bring in the reserves, we are cut off because this cult owns this territory on all the communication around it.
And I had a decent time running around and doing all the cult stuff, taking out the bases and
thousands and thousands of cult members.
Yeah, in Montana.
And Montana, right in the middle of nowhere. The
population of Montana
has
been converted. But the story just really bummed me out. I thought they had an opportunity there, and they really blew it. It ends with such a thud.
There's 2 and 3 technically, but two true endings at the end of the game.
The best ending is the secret one at the beginning of the game,
where you don't play Far Cry 5.
Play the game,
right? Yeah. I think you and I remember saying Far Cry. You said it. I was having trouble articulating how I felt about it, and you said Far Cry gonna Far Cry.
Yeah,
and it does. Yeah. It's still it adheres to these old Far Cry rules where it has to be surrealistic and it has to be supernatural in a way, and this one didn't have to be that way.
Yep,
it didn't have to be.
Yeah,
but they did anyway, and which then leads them to just copping out left and right. Left and right.
But anyway, we should probably talk about some good games.
A good game?
Yeah.
Did you play a good game yet? That's not God of War. Because we're going to kind of hit on God of War at the very end.
We can get to God of War later.
Yes, we should definitely do God of War
last.
Because I feel that that's
That's something we're going to talk about.
I feel like maybe I played something else, but maybe it's just God of War.
We played a game together called A Way Out.
Yeah. You played that as well. We all played A Way Out.
Yeah. We all played A Way Out. Yes.
Logan, how do you feel about A Way Out?
I think it was a perfectly serviceable game that came out at exactly the right time it needed to.
Yeah.
There was nothing that was out really at that point in time in the year.
Especially nothing co-op.
And it kind of scratched that co-op itch. Was it a great game? No. There was a lot of cheesy dialogue in it here and there,
right.
but overall, I thought the action was actually pretty decent, and even some of the tropes of the 70s, action movie and everything else, they weren't too, they were outlandish and, here, this boat's going to explode. Oh yeah. But it was it was dumb fun.
Right.
And and the way that they did the relationship between them together at the end, I think paid off for what it was. It knew what it was.
The ending was a little silly because it's there are so many opportunities for. I'm not going to spoil anything. Right. I don't want to get into that.
Yeah.
But there were so many opportunities for it not to end that way, and then it did, which was they just tried to make it into an 80s action movie ending, which I understand fits the theme, but the plot didn't really make sense to lead up to it.
No, and a lot of the previews of that game were very focused on the prison, which was really only the first hour of that game, which the game was 7-8 hours, something like that. It wasn't.
Yeah, I had a really, really good time playing through that, especially like you said, because there hasn't been a whole lot of co-op stuff lately.
I think some of the better parts of that game were after the prison, and some of the action sequences. It was wait,
was that the hospital?
Yeah,
the action sequence in the hospital. That's probably the strongest part of that game.
Yeah,
there's that, but then. There's the shootout part, which isn't great.
The Mexican shootout.
Well, that's because it turns into kind of like
it turns into a cover. It turns into a bad cover.
You said it. I wasn't going to say it, but you said it.
But, I don't want to sound too negative about it because overall I did really like it. It was the appropriate.
I did too.
It was the appropriate amount of jankiness.
You can see the inspiration too, and it's the good and bad that comes with. We could talk about this a little bit, the good and bad when there's a European developer that is inspired by American cinema for decades.
Yeah.
But you can kind of see right away it's like Shawshank. This is clearly drawing from Shawshank. And it just goes from, I remember that movie and that movie and that movie and that movie. And you can see it just drawing direct lines.
Yeah.
Which is good and bad. At least wise they don't go too far rogue where they try to almost think on their own, which is, I know that's sounding more insulting than I mean it to be, but at least wise they're leaning hard on that stuff, and a lot of it works.
Yeah, just like we said, it's there was Shawshank in there was a little bit of Face Off in there. There was a little bit.
The end.
There was a little bit of Heat. Yeah. There was a little bit of there was a little bit of random movies in there that just kind of has I like this part of this movie. Let's throw that in there. I like this plot twist of this thing, so I'm going to throw that in there.
Yeah.
I definitely see the American cinema.
You guys saw both endings, right? We saw both.
We watched both.
Did you see both?
Yeah,
Have you seen both?
Yeah, I watched the other one.
I think that once there's the main fork in the road, right? But once that goes, I'm not even necessarily dissatisfied with the decisions made with the characters individually after that.
Yeah,
that stuff is actually pretty strong. It's just the situation that brings about that fork is the problem. I think we all agree, I guess, that's the problem. It's not actually the ending. The epilogues of those games are actually pretty effective, in my opinion.
Yeah,
maybe I'm a sap, but
I think the decision and the twist in that game was a little convoluted and forced, and not. It was kind of what you're telling me that's this whole time. That was this was going on, and this has just been one big bait and switch.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. That, there was too many situations that came up where that shouldn't have happened. The double cross type thing shouldn't have happened. So.
Yeah, I can't really get in without spoiling it.
Yeah, it's tough to not talk about this game without spoiling things.
I played one other thing I realized.
Oh, what was that?
I played the Shadow of the Colossus remaster.
Yes.
Did we all play that?
Played that, yeah.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
One of the best games of all time.
Yeah. It translates into the remaster well.
Yep.
That game's so good.
Yep.
I haven't played it. When was the last time? Because you've played it regularly, haven't you, Caleb?
I've played it probably like 4 times over
Had you-
the past 10 years.
I had not played it since I first beat it.
Since the original? I don't think I had either.
Back in, 2004, 5?
Something like that,
4, 5, 6, somewhere around there.
I think it was 5.
We played it in your
4.
we played it in your tiny little apartment.
Yeah,
we went
little
back and
studio
forth on
apartment.
Colossi.
Tiny little apartment. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was good. I don't know. Like, maybe it was the perfect time for that.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same game and everything, which is, like, I guess they did fix, like, the horse riding a little. It's still kind of...
It's improved upon.
But it's, yeah. But that's the only really negative thing I have to say about it, is really they didn't add anything or change anything. They just kind of did the same thing over again. But that's fine.
Wow. Any other? So
I think that's
do
it.
you think there's anything else you played?
Let me check.
Any random old thing that you were playing? Did you finish Assassin's Creed?
I did finish. That's how I started the year. Probably the last time we spoke was I was going to finish Assassin's Creed. I really, really, really like Assassin's Creed Origin. I think it looks really nice. It's a very fleshed out, like, open world game that
There's a lot going
has
on there.
learned from all. Yeah, there's tons of content. There's tons to do. Caleb, did you didn't 100% that? Did you?
No, not even close.
So if Caleb says that, then I feel pretty good about my decision not to go too crazy about going and doing every little thing and collecting every little thing. But I don't know if we'll talk about this probably in another podcast. But that if they go like every 2 years with that franchise, I think I hope that I will be ready to play an Assassin's Creed like every 2 years regularly. Because I think you would have played one annually, probably, wouldn't you have, Caleb?
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know. I was on the cusp of like, no.
Yeah,
but Origins is really strong.
Yeah, I realize I'm the exception to that, and it's because I have more free time than you guys.
There are things on a map to do.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I love that. Turn on a podcast, go clear some stuff off a map. That's my jam. But
so I played A Way Out with Logan. I played Far Cry 5. I finished up Assassin's Creed Origins, and that is it. Besides Detroit. For me.
Okay.
And I'm like less than that. I'm like 2 hours in probably to Detroit.
Have you started it?
I have not even started it, so
I finished it.
And Caleb finished it.
Of course he's finished it. It's been 6 days.
It's not so long, right?
It came out on Friday. I finished it on Saturday.
Oh my God, dude.
And this is why we can't keep up. Like, this is.
I know.
Yeah, I came out Friday, finished it on Saturday.
And I went to a get together on Saturday too, so I didn't even play it. It's not a long game.
I assume it wasn't very long. I was going back and forth about whether buying it, and I'm like, yeah, you know what, I can still gameplay this or something, and maybe that's just
a good decision.
That's just a better decision here. Because I'm not even going to get to Caleb. I'm just going to ignore you for now because you're going to talk about things that are. It's going to be way too long. Yeah. So other games I played. I don't know if I played anything else new. That came out this year.
Hang on, one sec. Before we totally leave Detroit, I want to say
go ahead. Yeah.
It's I really did like that game. I think there are some. If you take it on the surface level, I think it's very good. Like if you just go for the story and just follow the characters, I think it's very good. If you try to read into things like this, quote unquote symbolism or like the racism and the slavery parallels and that kind of stuff, it's pretty clunky. But if you just take it on the surface level as I'm going to see a story about some robots, then it's really, I think it's pretty solid.
Okay.
I haven't seen enough of that stuff yet. It hasn't been. I don't know. You know what the internet says about that stuff already. So I'm trying to keep an open mind. David Cage is not some. We talked about this. He's not some like literary scholar,
right?
And I'm really, but I like his work. I'm a fan of his work.
I think he thinks he is. That's kind of the problem.
Okay, but like you can't. You just can't. Like you can't. This is. We're talking about it, so I'll just take it out of the bag. This is the thing I was talking about earlier. Is like you have this European studio that is trying to understand this very like. American folklore is not the right word for it. Historical, I suppose. Like this historical blotch on our American society, like our history, and he's kind of taking all of that civil rights stuff and then wrapping it into Detroit. And I feel like there might be a disconnect there. Like, I don't think he really understands.
Definitely is.
Yeah. I'm not, what I'm saying is I'm not shocked by that.
No. And I think,
like,
but
like, what did you expect?
There is a lot of enjoyment in playing games the way that 90% of people play games, and that's to enjoy a video game. So if that's your goal, I think this game succeeds at that.
I want to see it through. I really like David Cage's work overall, even though I'm just as hard on him as anybody else.
Yeah.
I think that the one thing that I really wanted to say about Detroit that struck me, and maybe it's because I was after God of War, and I won't talk about God of War, but just through kind of like that prism, we've got to a point where it doesn't matter what kind of game you are, you can pretty much tell a story with anything. And Indigo Prophecy and even Heavy Rain to an extent exist within these very I don't know, like these constrained hallways. Like, you're on a path. This is the path. You can go explore maybe a little over here, maybe a little bit over there, but you are on this linear path. And there's not really a ton of exploring to do or gameplay really to be had in those games historically. And that was done because of development limitations, because of technological limitations of where we were at. But now you can tell a story like Watch Dogs 2. You can tell kind of a complicated story in an open world game with very deep characters and still get the same point across.
Right, yeah.
And still feel just as connected to the characters. So what I'm asking is how long can David Cage develop these kind of games that are somewhat telltale in nature? Like, how long? Because I saw the other day they're working on a new project.
How long before he's forced to evolve into something?
Right. Like, when do we... I'm playing it and I'm like, oh man, I'm not really playing anything. It doesn't feel like I'm playing anything.
As long as he keeps getting funded and as long as it keeps getting the numbers, I don't think that you don't change the platform at all. So,
is Detroit selling well? I think it is.
I'm not sure.
I don't know if we know at this point. It hasn't been a full week, so I don't think they give numbers until after a week.
Holy cow, it's a week tomorrow, isn't it?
Yeah.
It feels longer than that.
I mean, even the God of War numbers didn't come out until a couple weeks.
Really?
About how well it had been selling.
And
so,
like the biggest freaking entertainment property of Sony.
Sony
property ever.
Developed property ever, yeah. So,
yeah.
So that's fine, and I'm not trying to be negative about Detroit because I haven't finished it.
I do like it, and I think you will enjoy it at the end. I think it just, if you're looking for give me some meaning, give me something to think about, it's not that, but
generally we can't go to games for that anyway.
Yeah. It takes a special kind of game to get that.
It just reminded me all the way back to Indigo Prophecy, and I was like, oh, this is different. This isn't a platformer.
Yeah.
This isn't a third-person action game. Like, we are really focused on the characters. And we've come so far that we can pretty much do that in any game. And, like, Rockstar and CD Projekt, like, those places are doing everything in a game and really knocking it out with characters as well. So I just wonder how much... We'll see how Detroit does, and if... I would imagine Quantic Dream has a pretty good relationship with Sony by now, that there has to be some cash there somewhere.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Caleb,
or you want me to go?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Oh, you have
We
stuff.
just talked for a while.
Yeah,
So
that's
I'm
fine.
sorry.
No, that's fine.
You have other stuff?
I didn't even talk. I mean, so
Exciting.
a lot of mine is mostly catch up from last year.
Okay.
So as I was kind of looking through stuff, I guess I played Star Wars Battlefront 2.
I remember that.
That's how memorable that was.
I remember where you stopped.
Yeah.
I'm just going to give you a cheer or a boo based on whatever you
All right. I like this. Let's play that game.
Okay. All right.
Because this is last year. We already talked about those games a ton.
Okay, and this game might even be 2 years old. I played Bayonetta 2 on the Switch.
Yay!
I'll say yay. I didn't play it, but I'll do that. That's
It was serviceable.
Did you finish it?
I finished it.
Did you watch all through the credits? Like the dance numbers and all that? Or was that
Yes.
the first game? No, I can't remember.
Nah, there was some weird stuff at the end. It's Bayonetta, so there's all kinds of weird stuff. It's it's a hack and slash, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Is it a platinum game?
Yes.
Yeah, and it's
It's
just
platinum? Okay.
and like as I'm playing it, like it's one of those like, oh yep, like there she goes, she's turning into some weird demon thing where like there's black stuff barely covering her nipples again, and like
Which time?
which time? Yeah, like it's fine. It was I ended up playing most of it portably. Like I did it.
Because you played it on the Switch.
I played it on the Switch, so I used it as like, oh hey, I'm like traveling for this or going here, so it's like I'll just play this travel. Or so I actually it took me like 45 days to probably finish it, just because I didn't play it any other time, because I got it through GameFly about the same time God of War came, so it was like, yeah, so I just kind of hit it when I could. Other game I played, another 2-year-old game. I played Super Hot on the console. I only played it on.
Played that?
I'd only played it VR.
Wow. Okay.
I've only played it VR as well.
Really?
And you played the console version?
I've only played. No, I've played both actually.
I was going to say you played a little bit
Yeah.
at work, right?
Is there a finish to that game, to the VR version?
Yes.
Okay, I don't know if I saw the ending. I'm not
I
sure.
don't think I did either, to be honest. I know there's a finish though.
I thought that was just like it was just like an endless mode is what all you did. Was
No,
you just unlocked
that
it.
unlocks after you finish the game.
Okay.
No, it's got the same. And did you finish Super Hot? I think it's got the same ending.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't?
No, it doesn't.
Oh, really?
You have to go shoot yourself in the head.
I thought, yeah.
Is that in the Super Hot VR?
I think so.
No, I thought it was in the. I didn't think that was the VR one. Maybe
Yeah,
I only played endless mode, because you guys probably already.
I think you played endless mode, yeah, because we'd already finished it, right?
Yeah.
That game's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of hot. Yeah, super hot. So yeah, I played that, and then the game I don't know if I spent the most time with or what, but it feels like I did. I played Nier Automata.
You guys can talk about that. Where was that on our list? Did you get it up to
It
2?
was number 1. No.
Did you get it up to
No,
2?
it was like number 5, I think.
Was it?
We put it because it was so high on his list, and I hadn't even played it yet. So after that whole Game of the Year debacle, I took his copy and went and played it. And
Did you see everything there is to see?
I did every ending.
Nice.
Every ending.
All the major
endings. So like
that's 4.
It's not like, I think 5.
yeah, there's like 5 endings to
Yeah.
it. I will say that that game has potential to be a good game.
So here. Okay, let me bring this back to our conversation about Detroit.
Yeah.
So we were just saying that Detroit stumbles when it tries to make you think or make you, and that's why I love Nier so much, is because it's very rare that you get a game that's like that. So please tell me at least you had at least one moment where you were like, that's interesting. I could think about that. Please tell me you at least had that.
There was a couple,
Okay,
but
good.
there was a character that irritated me to no end that I couldn't even stand his voice. This Pascal character, the robot.
Yeah, his voice sucks.
He was annoying as hell, and he was like integral to one of the endings, and it was just like I couldn't be more ready to kill this person off and be done with them. And it was it was like nails on a chalkboard every time he was on the screen.
Yeah, I understand that.
And then I felt like there was so much more that they could have done with with 2B and
A8. Is that right? That's been a while now.
I know it was whatever our A2, yeah, because 2B and A2, I always thought that was kind of weird. I thought there was more they could have done with A2 and told more about the story of why she left that group.
So there's a video, there's a YouTube series. I'm trying to remember the name of it. I want to give it credit, but I can't remember the name of it. I think it's Valkyrie Aurora. Is the name. But she did a series of breakdown videos on Nier, and they explain so much stuff, like stuff that's buried in like log files and side quests, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so she takes it kind of from the beginning and explains.
And I guess I don't
everything.
want to have to do that.
No, I don't expect you to, but that stuff is out there, and I think it's super interesting.
Because there were moments in that game that were really good and powerful moments that I felt like if they would have taken a little bit more time and cut out some of the repetitive level stuff that you ended up doing. And
You mean like backtracking?
there was a lot of backtracking that you ended up doing later on in the game because as you, you end up playing your second playthrough is because you start off with 2B and 9S or your two characters, but you play the whole first one as 2B. And 9S is like your side character that's running along with you that you don't control. Well, the entire second playthrough is you playing as 9S, and 2B is just a side character as you. So you play basically 20 hours almost doing the same thing. Just 10 hours of this and 10 hours repeated. So that's where it was like, I would have rather them taken the more time in the storytelling than having the repetitive
granted,
stuff.
9S plays completely different.
He does play completely different, but to see the same story bits
I see what you mean.
over and over again, and then kind of and then with A2's story, it was like, I wish I had a little bit more of A2's story because I felt like she was more an intriguing character, even because of what happened with her and like after what you find out, and like there could have been some more stuff about why she left, and that would have been more intriguing to me to kind of maybe go back in time to do that. If I'm going to spend some time doing the repetitive stuff, send me back in time like to a different portion where I'm A2 and I'm fighting some of this stuff and I'm getting some more history with that person. So, and it also didn't help that I think the hype of Nier like be coming out of nowhere and being this great game
after all of the 2017 Game of the Year coverage,
right? That I think I went into it expecting more, and where people who played it for the first time expected very little, and came out surprised. So there was an expectations level there. So that would be my thing with Nier, but I mean overall.
So we're gonna retroactively move it up to number 1.
No, because Caleb and I actually talked about this, and we said where would it fall on my top 10 list, and I said it still wouldn't make it.
Yeah, I understand. And actually, you said, especially when we do the top 10 stuff, it's so much like of a time and place that looking back on it, like if I were to redo my top 10 list from last year, I would probably put Persona above Nier. But at the time, it had made such a strong impact on me that I wanted it at number 1. But like now looking back, I think like Persona to me is going to stick out in my mind moving forward more.
Right. And I think I'd already even heard enough about Nier that some of the story plots had already been ruined for me or spoiled for me.
Yeah, that's fair because it was hard to avoid that stuff.
Right. So for me that's what hurt for me of playing it, I think.
So that's somewhat fair, somewhat unfair, you know?
Yeah. It's hard for me to judge it, but at the same time the gameplay in itself of just playing the game, very monotonous.
Yeah. I agree with that.
So
I would say I agree with you, Caleb. I don't think that I would put Persona. I had Cuphead number 1, but the gap is not as wide as it was.
Yeah.
Because
and who knows, maybe next year at this time you'll be like, you know what?
I don't know. Maybe the more time goes on, the more I think about. Really enjoyed my time with Persona.
Right. It really is like when we start ranking things, it really is like of that time.
Yeah, it's fair, especially because we're ingesting the year. Right. We're ingesting all of this stuff in such a small amount of time. It's hard to know what will stick with you.
Yeah. Anyway, anything else?
Other than that, just playing random games of PUBG here and there.
Cool. I've been playing that too. I play that too. I like it a lot. It's fine.
It's a perfectly good.
Just pretty easy to get into matches. Okay.
And they've improved on the at least on the Xbox side. We were both playing
on the Xbox One.
I did see recently that their player base is down to like a quarter of what it was.
Is that a cross-platform?
I think that's just on PC.
Or maybe that might just be the PC version.
I think that's just PC
so I was just curious how that
But even at that, if your player base was a couple million and now you're down to 500,000, that's still a decent player base.
Yeah.
Sure.
But it gets sucked up by Fortnite, who's free. Right. And Fortnite sucks. Sorry. Sucks.
I don't like Fortnite either.
I don't care for Fortnite.
I think it's fine.
It's sure. It's not my type of game.
If for free to play, sure.
Yeah, maybe that's why.
If that's what you're...
I would not pay money for Fortnite.
You get what you pay for.
Sure. I'm with that. We're outnumbered, but I'm with that.
Mm-hmm. All right. Anyway,
Caleb, I see a list of things.
Yeah, I'm not going to hit everything here.
Oh, sure, do it.
No. All
right.
I don't want to do that because we'd be here for a while. Have you guys heard about Subnautica?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, I did play that. I kind of that's the only game. Well, one of the only games on the list that I kind of fudged my way through because it's very like you have to like find a ton of resources to craft the stuff you need. So I kind of cheated a little bit to get some of the stuff I needed instead of exploring. But I wanted to see what happened like with the story of that game because surprisingly for like a crafting game, for like an exploring crafting game, the story is really cool.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How many hours?
Yeah. I don't know how a legit playthrough would go since I kind of shortcutted it.
Okay.
But I really enjoyed that game. I'm usually not really that into those kind of survival games, but that one I really did like. Celeste. You guys heard of Celeste?
Yeah, I think Celeste looks cool. In fact, I may get to it before the end of the year. I'm hoping
it's good and it's pretty short too.
Okay,
hard.
I was intimidated by it.
Just to finish it. No. If you want to go, they have like collectible strawberries because they're collectible. If you want to go for all those, yes, very hard. And there's like after you beat it, you unlock a new set of levels and on and on and on. That stuff's super hard, but just to finish it and not. There's some parts that are tough. But it's not something you're going to be like throwing your controller over. And
levels, you finish one and you're done with it forever, right?
Yeah.
And then you just load back.
Yep.
It's by screens. I mean screens, right? Screen to screen to screen.
Yeah.
Is that a Meat Boy mechanic? I never played Super Meat Boy.
Kind of. Yeah. I mean, in that regard, yeah. Yeah, definitely. When you do a screen, then you move on to the next one.
Okay.
But the story is actually pretty cool too in Celeste. So yeah, I would recommend checking it out, especially because it's not super long.
I'm gonna play it. What? $15? $20?
Something like that.
What platform did you play it on?
I did play it on. I played it on PC.
Okay, I didn't know if you played on Switch or not.
I might have picked it up on sale. I don't remember how much I spent on it.
Okay, that's on everything, isn't it?
I think it's on pretty much everything. Yeah.
Okay. What's next?
I know you guys aren't interested at all, but I loved Monster Hunter World.
You loved it?
Yeah.
Did that come out this year?
Yeah.
God.
Definitely.
January?
Yeah, that was it January or February? I think it was.
You and
January.
I looked at that, didn't we, Caleb?
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys looked at it. I sat in the back.
Did you sit at the desk?
Yeah, I sat at the desk and went, nah, that game's not for me. Just from the back.
I thought it looked fine. I don't know. I can't put my thumb on it. I don't know. Why don't I like that game? As from someone that knows what I like, and
is it too repetitive?
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe you're doing the same thing over and over again too much. I don't know. Maybe the combat's not super. I think maybe visceral.
Maybe that's it. I think it's like the swing through on the stuff, and there's not like God of War again, right?
There's not weight,
right? Where you kind of feel the connection, even though there are not objects three-dimensionally connecting. You kind of just feel it connecting.
Yeah,
it just kind of swings through. I think maybe that has something to do with it.
I like the loop in that game a lot, though. I know that, like I said, that the game can feel repetitive to a lot of people, but I think the core loop of it is really good.
What else?
We already talked about Shadow of the Colossus. Metal Gear Survive sucks. Don't play it.
Yeah,
Did you
guys look at that?
Yeah, that game was terrible. Don't play it. It does not. I finished that game and it never makes good on any of its promises.
Okay.
Ni no Kuni is very, very good. I like Ni no Kuni 2 a lot. It's kind of a departure from the first game, and they're not really connected all that much.
It's real pretty.
But it's very pretty, and I like the combat a lot. The combat in the first game got kind of old. You're just kind of doing the same thing over and over, but this Ni no Kuni 2 keeps it fresh. It gives you a lot of options on how you want to handle stuff.
How many hours?
30-ish, 35, something like that. So
not as long as the first one then, right?
The first one's not super long either. Like 40 maybe. So maybe a little shorter.
Okay. Yeah, I thought the first one for some reason was like 80 hours or something like that. I was incorrect then.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, there's enough content in there where you can play it that long, but
They're just a mainline, and it's
But that's pretty much it. I think we talked about. Well, unless we want to talk about God of War.
I think that
the time has come to talk about God of War.
I think the time to I guess should I throw out the disclaimer of spoilers?
Yeah, I think we just say from this point on, God of War spoilers are coming in hot and heavy.
Yeah.
So that was a good time. God of War is a good time.
Yes. I really like God of War.
You platinumed it, right?
I platinumed God of War.
Any idea on hours there? I know I'm asking you that question a lot.
I don't.
But a lot, right?
I wish there was a timer in that game.
Yeah, there's no timer.
There's not?
So
I don't know
I have
why.
no idea. I kind of lost track because I just got lost in that game.
Because I think I think they said like main story. I've heard anywhere between 20 to 30 hours, but yet I don't feel like I spent 20 to 30 hours playing it because I don't even know how many hours I spent playing it.
I think I spent like 25.
I have no idea.
I want to say
I did a good amount of side stuff
That
too.
sounds about right. I'm gonna guess probably like 40 for the platinum.
Really? Okay, that's not too bad.
Yeah.
I mean, because I did enough side stuff. Like I've already got 2 of the 3 dragons. Like I've done like 3 or 4 of the whatever the weird ghost side missions are.
Oh, okay.
The spirits.
Have you done any Valkyries?
I tried fighting one Valkyrie at a point where I should not have fought Valkyrie.
I was curious about that. I haven't fought one.
They're tough. The first like 3 are not that difficult, but after that they get really hard.
Are they in order, or are they in like it just depends on which Valkyrie?
I guess
you
I'm
come across?
saying like in order from like the starting area to the end area.
Okay,
in that kind of
because I don't know. It's like. I don't know which one I came across first, but they were definitely purple from the health bar standpoint, which means you ain't winning that fight.
So I even for the last one, I even turned it down to the easy difficulty and still had to do it like probably 15 times before I could do it.
Wow.
It was really hard.
What was your level?
9.
9's pretty high, isn't it?
9 is pretty high.
I don't think you
5.
can get much higher than that. Like,
Oh, really?
There's really nothing else I could.
There's no other loot out there that could make you stronger than
I don't
that.
think you can get. Maybe you can get to 10 somehow, but
That might be the max.
that's probably it's. I mean, it's not a hard cap. That'd be like a soft cap, but
What do you guys? We don't have to like overdo it. I guess I'm just. What do you guys think are like the best parts of that game? Like what makes it a critical darling and what makes it so strong?
The conversations.
It's almost like a GTA-esque kind of way to deliver that stuff. Mimir he's great. He adds such.
Oh, hello there.
He adds such great like Kratos is just, and by design, like just the dreadful conversationalist. You know, and he really adding that character is genius.
I love when Kratos tries to tell the story and he just he's like, and then they died. That's like, boy. Did you guys watch the video of they had the voice actor do dad jokes?
No,
It's so
I saw that.
I haven't seen it.
It was pretty good.
I've never trusted stairs. They're always up to something.
That's good. I like that. I'll have to remember that. That's pretty
there's
good.
There's the developer team actually even created some GIFs based on like popular GIFs, like of like the one with like the kid who gives the thumbs up at the computer.
Oh yeah,
they did one with Atreus. Like they put Atreus doing that.
Did you guys both go back home after?
Yes.
Yeah.
You got like the dream.
Only after your suggestion. Okay. I don't know if I would have went back had you not told me.
I would have done it, probably just not as quickly as I did.
So God of War 2 is absolutely coming, right?
Right.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Has to be.
It has to, right?
I was honestly, I mean, so now we're kind of getting into spoilers here. As you played, I mean, the first 10 to 12 hours with the axe, and then all of a sudden you go and grab the Blades of Chaos, and it's like, oh shit! Like, and I was sitting there thinking, like, this is like, is it gonna change on me? Like the perspective and everything else. Like, no, that worked out pretty well. Yeah. Like that.
Camera just zooms out a little bit more.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Yeah. And it's surprisingly effective. Like I was like, and it worked pretty well going back and forth between the two of just hitting the D-pad over, and a couple times it got a little funky on me. It's like if I threw the axe and then tried to go back over to the other thing, I was like, no, you can't do that. You can't throw the axe and use the blades at the same time. Like,
really?
Well, you can go back and forth between the combos and stuff.
Yeah,
like you can like, what are they called? The runic abilities or whatever.
Yeah,
like you can pop 4 in a row. Like you can do your light heavy, switch weapons to your light heavy again.
Yeah, I think it was like I threw the axe and I didn't pull it back, and then it was like I was trying to switch the blades and it wasn't letting me for some strange reason.
Okay.
I don't know why, but that was just a weird thing I saw. But maybe it was just a fluke of a.
Did you guys, coming from like, I know you guys are kind of in the past have been into fighting games. Mm-hmm. Did you find like combos that were working out for you? Did you use that stuff, like the abilities that you unlock?
The one thing I never quite understood was the stance mechanic.
Yeah,
I could not figure that one out.
I thought maybe coming from like a fighting game background, you guys might have been more, because I struggled with all of that. I just kind of mashed buttons.
I think it was because I had already figured out the stuff I like to do, that by the time I unlocked the stance stuff, I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to try to do this either. It was like, I think I'm good with just doing what I'm doing because it's effective.
So were you compelled to kind of dive into that as you went into endgame stuff?
No.
Even then? Okay.
Even then, I would rather turn down the difficulty than try to learn that stuff.
Okay, so that's what's interesting is like when you have to embrace that stuff due to necessity.
Yeah.
But if it's not going to make you do that or make you feel like you have to do that, then I don't really know why.
I'm just trying to figure out who that's in there for. Because
I think it's in for like in there for the person that unlocks the extreme difficulty.
Maybe that's it.
And maybe there's something else with it. Yeah. What was the enemy type you had the worst time with? There was one specifically for me that really.
It's been a while since I played it now. So
the extreme wars I had trouble with. I guess
I didn't have problems with those.
The ones that came out of the gateways, like the little whatever those things were called.
For me, it was like the ghost things that would throw the 3 things down the ground and would cause blindness.
Oh, like the witches?
No, they weren't witches. The witches would because you could just shoot them with the.
That's what I was picturing was witches.
No, you only fought them twice, and you fought them once.
Ghost things.
They had like spears, and they would, but they didn't have legs. They were just kind of spirit type things.
The witches, aren't those witches?
No, those aren't because I know what you're talking about. The witches that would throw up the poison vomit stuff at you.
Yeah, not them. Oh,
not them. These really like Atreus' stuff wouldn't bother them. I think they were in Alfheim. They were like the main bosses in Alfheim, and then you fought them again at the very end when you were going through that room with all the realms.
Through the gauntlet
thing, and that was. For me, that was the hardest part of the game, was that gauntlet part where I had to fight 2 of those things at the same time that caused the blinding. And maybe it was just the style of play of me versus, somebody else. Mm-hmm. But that was, for whatever reason, that was the only time that I ever struggled with combat in that game.
Yeah, the only struggles I had was with the Valkyries. I don't remember there being but again, I had no problem if I died like twice on a fight, I just turned it down temporarily and then turned it back.
Because there is no difficulty trophy or anything else in that. Yeah, and I think I left it on normal the whole time. I kind of forgot about turning it down ever.
Yeah, I played it on easy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No.
The only problem was if you do forget to turn it back, some of those fights are too easy on easy.
Yeah, I didn't
just
care.
That's true. That's true. It was just kind of like some of them you chop a guy twice and he's dead.
Forgot him for this one, and I've been like we talked about the other day. I don't bring this up, Logan, to be like, oh, I'm awesome. Like, we talked about the original Arkham, and he said the combat arena was the part where he stopped. Mm-hmm. And, that's where I was, at that point in time in my gaming life, to get all 1,000 points in the first Arkham, no, I was going to understand that combat. Mm-hmm. I was going to do that.
And you taught me how to do it.
And so, I did the first one for Logan, and then we, went through a tutorial, and then you got to do this, and you got to do this, and you got to do this, and you get a variety off of this, and then because the scores were based on variety. So at one point in time, I may have been the guy who would have unlocked the super difficulty, then gone in and understand the stance stuff and understand all that. But I just...
Knowing that there's no trophy for it, though, would you still have?
Maybe not. Maybe not. That's a good point. Maybe not. In fact, no. Probably
in fact, no.
But I guess you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Is that I would have maybe felt more compelled to do it, But God of War for me is like, come witness.
Well,
come behold the God of War.
The title of the game is God of War. Like, you want to feel like the God of War, right? You want to like destroy some stuff and feel badass.
I sure felt good about it.
And they modernized it in a way that, I mean, because it was. I mean, the first God of Wars were just these brute force action games that were just, basically just hammer, circles, triangle, R1. It was like that was pretty much all the game was. And
here's a quick time event now.
Yeah,
do it.
Press circle a bunch of times, they'll break a chest open. Like, all right, like. This actually had a legit narrative. I learned a little bit more about Norse mythology.
Yeah, like I'm like surprisingly interested in it now.
Between Thor, Hellblade, and now God of War, I feel like I'm pretty well versed in Norse mythology at this point.
You're pretty well versed in like 3 fictional versions of it.
Perspective of
each perspective of those mythologies. Yes, and so it's interesting, to kind of get those different perspectives on the mythology But I still just that relationship piece of that game is just from start to end and how all that works it's very well done. I mean, you don't expect that from that type of game.
You mean relationships in general, or like a specific relationship?
Well, the father-son relationship, but I mean, even some of the I still struggle with the Baldur and Freya
See,
situation.
I really liked that. I liked that a lot. I could totally understand.
I had to school myself a little bit though.
Okay.
Were you able to kind of absorb that? You did absorb it.
Yeah.
Good for you. I did not. I didn't quite catch it. I was like, wait, what?
Maybe I just had the right combination of Mimir's stories. I don't know.
That could be true. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, especially if you were exploring and heard everything Mimir had to say. So did you catch why Baldur is so angry at his mother, Freya?
Yeah.
You?
Mm-hmm, yes. Okay. And it's so that's, but I was more trying to figure out why she was so protective of him when he's actively trying to kill her, and he is this terrible person. And now, and for everything that happened between her and Odin, why is she still protecting him, and why does she still? I mean, I get the yes, that's your son, but
that's what it is.
But it just seemed like you're willing to die even though there's other things that you're trying to help everybody else out with. It did seem too conflicting for me of the rest of her personality.
Like that's a very strong I could totally see
coming from the guy who's not a parent.
Yeah.
No, that's interesting. Point, I mean, the way that you would be able to understand Freya's not even her lack of I guess conflicted
Maybe
feelings.
It's because that is a little idealized to me, and for you guys, it's more realistic of a view.
I don't know if that's what it is. It's just, I think I still just looked at it as
throw yourself in front of a moving train for your kid.
Yeah,
I think it's still a good versus evil thing, and it was just like she even kind of created this evil side of him, and
maybe she feels
guilty for that, but at the same time,
I created a monster by trying to protect him. I made that mistake, and she talks about it a lot. She's constantly I've made mistakes. I made a mistake. I made Baldur. I made a mistake. Stop. Over and over and over, especially during that last fight. She's either saying, Kratos, don't kill him, or I made a mistake. Son, stop. I made a mistake.
I loved it when she started controlling Thamir,
whatever. The big giant corpse.
That's been sitting there the whole game, and then all of a sudden she's just controlled. That's
great reveals. You're that's a dude.
Yeah,
that's a guy.
I'm gonna have to swing on his beard for a while.
I'm the size of his nose hair.
Yeah,
that's so good.
Yeah, there's again they do scale in every God of War game well, and I was worried, especially with being third person like that, and then being able to pull out a camera to show that scale. They still figured out a way to show that scale.
Yeah.
And I thought by the end of
the first time you see the sea serpent,
the world serpent is the best. He's the best, and he's so chill.
Yeah,
fine, go in there. Whatever. Dive into my stomach. It's fine.
No problem.
Yeah. But he sounds so threatening when he talks too. And he's got that cool beard.
It makes
the serpent's got a beard.
Yeah. It makes some weird ass sounds coming out of my.
Oh yeah.
My speaker set. It's just I don't even know what sounds those are. Like it is. It's kind of like it's got this weird bass rumble to it, but it doesn't. Like it kind of sounds like a can opener and something else.
Yeah. I my speaker bar isn't the greatest, but I watched Larson. I watched him play for a while.
Oh, yeah.
He has a really nice setup. So he got to that part, and I was just like, I'm ready for it.
Hold on.
I hear how this sounds on a good system.
I don't know if I've got much else to say about. I think the only thing I thought this game was going to be a one-off, and we were going to fight Odin, and Kratos was going to die, and it was going to be Atreus moving on. And I didn't expect it to just kind of end the way it did with Freya and Baldur, and just kind of the tease of, oh, you're actually not Atreus.
Yeah.
And and so that's where I wonder where in the Norse mythology he falls.
This is its own thing.
Because it's its own thing, because
it falls apart.
Is he
point.
Yeah, the Loki thing especially makes
Right.
it fall apart.
Right. That's what and
I guess Loki was never
he's not a son of Odin. He was always adopted.
Yeah, maybe it doesn't fall apart there, but there's so much other stuff that falls apart.
But does he become adopted by Odin, and now you end up with, because we obviously see Thor.
Yeah.
So,
God of War 2.
God of War 2.
2023.
I bet now that the engine's done, though.
In reality, when do you guys think that game could come out? Let's talk seriously.
It seems like most games on with sequels nowadays take around a 3 to 4 year cycle.
I think that game, and maybe I'm being optimistic, but I think that we could see God of War 2, and depending on how much they've worked on it, I bet we could see it holiday of 2019.
No,
I think we see it at the same time 2020. I think we see it April 2020. And
I'm way farther out than you guys. I'm thinking like 2022.
And here's my thought, though, is that you've got the Tree of Life. You don't go to every realm. You've already got that center space already developed out. That space is already there. You just use that existing asset, and now you're just creating other stuff within different realms. Everything else is already there.
They would get killed for that.
But why would they? Well, I don't know if you can get killed for that, because
you just do.
It's the same world.
Far Cry Primal got killed for it,
and that's not even close. Like, if you just play that game, you'll never know it's the same map. But somebody dug into the file.
It's true,
and it got killed.
But that's the thing, is you're not using the same. You're using the same asset, the same core asset. But when you're just building out the other new realms, because in all reality, you can't change Midgard.
I'm inclined to agree with you.
You can't change Midgard. If you change Midgard just for the sake of changing Midgard,
it could be a different place in Midgard. Midgard's huge, right?
Right, I guess, but at the same time, if that's the point, is to go to other realms and do the other stuff, then you kind of still need that area to exist.
I think
there are ways around that.
Where I was going with that is that I think that the third version in this new trilogy comes out on new hardware.
That could be.
That's a longer discussion for me, because I don't. You're gonna have to define new hardware. I don't want to get into that.
And that's fine. That's fine. Because that is another discussion. But I do think that after the success
God of War 3 came out on PS3,
I think that they'll follow that. I think that they'll follow that formula, and I just think that Sony, with the success, the freight train success that they've had in this generation of building a console, I think they'll definitely build another one.
Yeah.
It's been too successful.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all. And I think to that point that 3 will then launch on new hardware. Just my prediction.
What that hardware is
to beat up. Yeah.
Speaking of predictions, shall we cut this podcast off and
I think that's exactly
take a quick break and talk about some E3 coverage coming up?
Let's do it.
All right.
Thanks for listening, and break.
Love you.
Love you. Ciao.